I want to take this opportunity to first thank the wisdom of the President and the leader of opposition, the former Prime Minister, in finding the wisdom to have the country cool down the temperatures and sit on the table and have a conversation about the posterity of this nation. Mr. Speaker, the wise people tell us that when the debate is lost, that is when the arguments set in, and that is when violence sets in. But we are civilized people, Mr. Speaker, so that Kenya as a country is able to prosecute the matters that we find to be a thorn in the flesh in a decent way. And the National Dialogue Committee presented such a case. Mr. Speaker, I also have to thank the leadership of the Leader of Majority, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, and the Leader of the Wiper Party for steering the ship to a stage where we have a report before us and we are able to debate it before this House. Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest achievements of NADCO is placing the problems at the place where they can find solutions. Mr. Speaker, some of the issues that are being discussed at NADCO would not get a solution anywhere else. It could not get a solution in the streets. It could not get a solution in the bars. Some of the issues needed legislative remedies. And the only house tasked with the responsibility of legislation is the House of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, so this report is now properly and procedurally before the right place so that this House can do as it wills because it is guided by Article 95 and 96 of the Constitution to do what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, we are just coming out of the third reading of the housing bill, Mr. Speaker. And you remember that the housing as an issue came up in these NADCO negotiations. And there was a push and pull about housing. But Mr. Speaker, without going into the details that we have canvassed this afternoon, it is important to see how our deliberations this afternoon were well informed by what was conversed during the NADCO negotiations. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, NADCO gives us an opportunity, unlike the previous commissions that have been held in this country. Mr. Speaker, we have had the Ndongo Land Report. We have had the Kriegler Report. We have had the Truth and Justice and Reconciliation Report. Mr. Speaker, these are reports that are gathering dust because we as Kenyans, at that point, we did not have the courage to face the devils that have been bedeviled this country for centuries, for decades, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, come an historical issue had been canvassed in the Ndongo Land Report. The issues of historical injustices have been canvassed by TRJRC. The issues about election injustices were in the Kriegler Report. So, Mr. Speaker, we as a generation now have an opportunity through this NADCO report to make things right, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also shall take this opportunity to place it on the floor of this House that the decision made by His Excellency the President must have taken a lot of magnanimity on his side. Because I am sure that there are people on the side of the President who were not seeing the import of sitting down and negotiating with the opposition. There must have been people who are breathing fire to the leader of opposition, the very esteemed Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, saying to him that he should not sit down with opponents. But because of their wisdom, Mr. Speaker, we now have a report before us. Mr. Speaker, I could not end this debate without putting my voice in support of the candidature for the former Prime Minister of this country, a well-fitting member of this African community. He fits the bill to be the chairman of the AU. And Mr. Speaker, I have to say that he has my undivided support as he goes for that bid, Mr. Speaker. And I know Kenya shall be behind him as he makes this bid for a continental seat so that his career will end on an esteemed note.
It is the chairperson of the AU Commission that is open. The Honorable Chakonga, is out of order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You know, I am the Mr. Point of Order in this House. I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 83. Mr. Speaker, and you must not allow anybody, particularly in the group that started with me the 11th Parliament, like the Honorable Opiyo Wandayi, my very good friend. You should never allow them to stand on no point of order. In fact, Standing Order 83...
What is out of order?
It's out of order, Mr. Speaker.
What is out of order?
No, in fact, I'm just reporting that...
Okay, Mr. Point of Order, what is out of order?
Mr. Point of Order, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have a problem with my gadget here. I have been pressing it, it keeps switching off. I don't know whether it doesn't like me. And you know, I have been sitting here.
Okay.
I have asked here, they told me it cannot be seen. I have tried to intervene, it cannot be seen.
Thank you. The Honorable Chekonga, what was decided this afternoon is that no member will be allowed to speak just because he came and said he doesn't have a card.
No.
So, order.
Yeah.
I request you to approach the ICT. They'll give you a new card if this was not working. You come and log in. I will not give any member a chance to speak if they don't have a card today. The Honorable, the member for... What's out of order? And the Honorable Wandayi.
No, Honorable Speaker.
We cannot discuss the AU Commission job. No.
But how, Honorable Speaker, the Speaker is anticipating
Go ahead.
what I want to say.
Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, you know, actually, I really like the presentation by my friend, Honorable Kiari. He's my very good friend. And he spoke very, very eloquently, as he always does. But Honorable Speaker, it's really in order. Is the Honorable Kiari in order to insinuate that by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga bidding for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission, he will be ending his political career? Where does he get the impression that Raila Odinga's political career is about to come to an end?
Did I hear you?
Raila Odinga is just 79 years old. Just 79 years old.
Did I hear you, the Honorable Kiari, to
He
suggest
said that is a better way of ending his political career.
Did I hear you saying that?
He said that.
Okay. The Honorable Kiari, did I hear you saying that?
Mr. Speaker, I would not want to dilute the honor that we were bestowing on the former Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga. And it is not lost to members in this House, no less the leader of minority, that the Honorable Raila Odinga has had a very long and illustrious political career, to the point that this would be the apex of his politics if he were able to ascend to be the chairperson of the AU Commission. This would be the highest honor bestowed on a gentleman who has had an illustrious career. Mr. Speaker, that does not amount to an upward displacement, and I do not wish in any way to retire the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, because his presence in the politics of the country and this continent is still needed, and Mr. Speaker, and his service is still desired. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I personally don't believe that this House is not suited to discuss any of these matters the two of you are sparring over. We are ill-suited. We cannot determine anybody's fate, whether positive or negative, in that regard. The next member to speak on this matter, the Honorable Ngusia from